Power has always been a concept we associate with external forces. We often think of power in terms of domination, authority, or control over others. We look to the rich, the famous, and the powerful figures in society and assume that they hold the keys to the most coveted form of power. But what if I told you that true power isn't found in any of these things? What if the most potent force in the world is actually something far simpler, far quieter, and yet more transformative than anything you could ever possess outside yourself? True power is the ability to control your own mind, your emotions, your reactions. In a world that constantly pulls us in every direction, where the expectations of others weigh heavily on us, it's easy to forget that the real source of strength is within. When we are able to master our thoughts and emotions, we gain an unshakable foundation upon which to build our lives. The people who rise above external noise, who remain unshaken despite challenges, are the ones who understand this profound truth, that their power comes not from status or wealth, but from within. Think about it for a moment. What happens when you allow someone to get under your skin? When your emotions control you, when your reactions become knee-jerk and out of your control, you are essentially giving up your power. You allow external circumstances to dictate your internal state, and in doing so, you lose the ability to remain calm, focused, and intentional. The truly powerful don't allow the world around them to dictate their inner peace. They're the ones who can stay centered even in the storm, who can look at chaos and calmly navigate it. Imagine the impact this kind of power could have on your life. It's not about becoming emotionless or indifferent to the world around you. It's about having the ability to choose your response, to remain in control of your inner world regardless of what happens externally. This is the kind of power that lasts, the power that isn't fleeting, that can't be stripped away by the tides of fortune. This is the kind of power that doesn't rely on external validation or recognition. It is the power of self-mastery. And that is the power you have always had within you, just waiting to be realized. But unfortunately, society doesn't encourage us to look inward for our power. Instead, we are constantly bombarded with messages telling us that we need more of something outside ourselves. We need more money, more status, more recognition. We are taught to chase external validation in the form of likes, followers, promotions, and possessions. And in doing so, we lose sight of the fact that the only thing we ever truly need to feel powerful is to master our own minds. The greatest power you can have is the ability to choose how you react to the world, how you respond to situations, how you direct your energy. Now let's talk about why this is so important in the context of the world we live in today. We are living in a time where external forces constantly work to manipulate and control us. The media, corporations, political systems, they all thrive on keeping us in a state of reactive living. We're sold a narrative that happiness, success, and fulfillment can only come from the outside in. And because so many of us buy into this narrative, we end up chasing after things that don't fulfill us and allowing ourselves to be led by external pressures. These systems thrive on keeping us disconnected from our inner power. They want us to believe that power lies in the hands of a few, those who control the narrative, those who have wealth or influence. The media tells us what we should look like, how we should think, what we should buy, and how we should live. It tells us that the answer to all of life's problems lies in the next big purchase or the next big success. But all the while, it keeps us from realizing that the real source of power is not in the things we chase, but in the way we manage our minds and our responses. The more we depend on external sources of power, the more we lose touch with our own strength. We forget that the most important thing we can control is our ability to respond to the world, to direct our own energy, to make decisions based on our own values rather than the opinions of others. The more we seek validation from others, the more we give up our power. The more we let external circumstances dictate our happiness, the more we hand over our ability to create the life we desire. This is the lie that society has sold us, that happiness, success, and fulfillment are found in external sources. But what if I told you that none of those things will ever give you true power? What if the real power lies in the ability to stand firm in your own truth, to remain calm and centered no matter the chaos around you? That's the power you should be chasing. The power to control your mind, to master your emotions, and to stand unshaken in the face of adversity. This is where the second truth comes in. The external world is constantly working to keep us disconnected from this power. The systems we interact with, media, government, corporations, are built on keeping us in a state of dependency, to make us believe that our worth is tied to what we have or how others perceive us. They want us to think that we need external approval, that we need to be validated by others in order to be powerful. But the reality is that true power comes from within. The sooner we realize this, the sooner we can begin to reclaim control over our own lives. When we begin to disconnect from these external pressures and reconnect with our own inner power, we stop seeking validation outside ourselves. We stop looking to others to tell us who we are and what we should do. We begin to trust our own instincts, our own decisions, and our own sense of purpose. We no longer need external validation to feel powerful. We recognize that our worth is inherent and unshakable, and that we are the masters of our own lives. By reclaiming our power, we stop being manipulated by forces outside ourselves. We start to make decisions that align with our true purpose rather than following the paths others have laid out for us. And in doing so, we step into the life we were always meant to live, the life where we are in control, the life where we walk with purpose, and the life where our power is rooted in self-mastery. True power isn't about what you can take from others. It's about what you can give yourself. Control over your thoughts, your actions, and your responses. It's the power to shape your own life, regardless of what the world throws at you. When you master this, you unlock a strength that cannot be taken away. This is the power you were always meant to know. The truth is, the systems that govern the world around us, whether they are political, economic, or social, are designed to keep us dependent on external forces. They want us to believe that our value is tied to the outside world, to the approval of others, to our financial standing, to our relationships, and to our success in ways that are beyond our control. It's a clever trap, one that many of us fall into without even realizing it. We are taught from a young age to look for external validation. We're told that we need to achieve, succeed, and be recognized in order to feel worthy. But this external validation is fleeting. It's based on what others think of us. And as we all know, what others think of us can change in an instant. So we chase after the next big thing, the next approval, the next success, and the cycle never ends. What makes this so dangerous is that the more we chase this external approval, the further we get from our true power. When we look outside ourselves for validation, we relinquish our ability to define our own worth. We become prisoners to the opinions of others, constantly searching for confirmation that we're on the right track. We let society dictate our happiness, and in doing so, we lose sight of what truly makes us strong. We forget that our worth isn't dependent on how much we earn, how many people like us, or how many followers we have. Our worth is intrinsic. It's built on the foundation of who we are inside. Our values, our integrity, our ability to stand tall in the face of adversity, and our ability to create meaning and purpose in our lives. Now think about the implications of this. The more we allow ourselves to be swayed by external forces, the more we lose touch with our own power. We become like boats tossed around on the waves, at the mercy of the winds and currents, rather than sailors who are steering their own course. This is where the real danger lies. We lose our agency. We stop making decisions based on our own intuition, our own purpose, and instead we start making decisions based on the demands and expectations of the outside world. We're no longer in control. The world around us is. Take a moment to think about how much of your day is dictated by the expectations of others. From the moment you wake up, you are bombarded with demands, whether it's from your job, your family, or even the pressures of social media. You are constantly adjusting, constantly shifting, constantly responding to the needs and opinions of others. And in doing so, you lose the chance to take ownership of your own life, to make decisions that truly serve you. The more you let the outside world dictate your actions, the further away you get from the only thing that can truly make you powerful, your ability to define your own path. So how do we reclaim our power? How do we stop being manipulated by these external forces? The answer lies in learning to reconnect with our true selves and trusting that we already have everything we need within us. We need to stop seeking validation from the outside world and start looking within. When we begin to trust our own instincts, when we start making decisions that align with our own values, we regain control. This is how we break free from the trap of external validation. When you learn to trust yourself, when you stop depending on others to define your worth, something incredible happens. You begin to make choices that reflect your true desires and your true purpose. You stop chasing success or approval for the sake of validation, and instead you make decisions that are rooted in your own sense of fulfillment. You stop living for the praise of others and you start living for yourself. Now, let's talk about the next aspect of power. The most powerful form of self-control you can have is emotional control. The world around you will always try to push you in different directions. There will always be things that try to knock you off balance. Stress, fear, uncertainty, disappointment. But true power comes from your ability to control your reactions. It comes from your ability to stay grounded, to stay centered in the face of life's inevitable challenges. The more you practice emotional control, the more you realize that you are in control of your own life. No one else can dictate how you feel, how you respond, or how you move forward. You have the power to decide how you show up each day, regardless of the circumstances. This emotional control doesn't mean suppressing your feelings or pretending like everything is fine when it's not. It means having the awareness to recognize when your emotions are taking control of you and choosing to respond in a way that aligns with your values. It means having the mental strength to pause before reacting and to make sure that your responses are intentional, not impulsive. It's about mastering your own emotional landscape, not letting your emotions control you. When you practice this kind of emotional mastery, you gain a level of power that is unmatched by anything the world can offer. You become unshakable. One of the most profound aspects of emotional control is that it allows you to maintain your peace in any situation. When you can stay calm, when you can remain centered despite external chaos, you become a beacon of strength for others. People are drawn to those who are calm under pressure, who can navigate challenges with grace and clarity. This kind of emotional strength is magnetic. It's the kind of power that others respect and admire. But more importantly, it's the kind of power that allows you to live a life that is aligned with your highest potential. In this world, there will always be forces trying to pull you in different directions, but the key to maintaining your power is to stay grounded in your own truth. You don't need to rely on external validation, you don't need to chase after the approval of others, and you certainly don't need to let the world dictate how you feel. True power is found in the mastery of your own mind and emotions. It's about reclaiming your agency, staying centered, and trusting that you have everything you need within you to navigate this world with confidence and purpose.